Hello, Teamsters. Ronald Scott Pontel, the Conservative Caucus of the local Teamsters Union Hall 222. Today we're here to speak with Mr. Scott Stephenson, running for the Republican House.
Republican State House, District 44.
District 44. We endorse and support this man. We're here to ask him a few questions about who he is, what he is, and why he wants to do what he's doing. Okay, and we're going to start with his first question. And that question is, how will your experience in the Fraternal Order of Police shape your approach to other unions?
That's a good question. Right now I'm the Executive Director of the Fraternal Order of Police Utah chapter. This is my second stint with the FOP. But I think you got to peel back even broader. My collective experience just in law enforcement as an officer on the street, on up through as the director of the police academy, and then into FOP. When I was post director, I always valued the line staff because of the challenges and the liability exposure that officers have. In 2010, Post used to have, with preponderance of the evidence, to be able to provide its case and prove that they needed to take action against an officer. I raised that standard because of the value I saw in the difficulties and challenges that line officers face. So right there shows how much I value labor. I increased the standard for me to be able to take action against them, and it also made my job more difficult, but I felt like it was necessary. So now fast forward, I'm the Executive Director of the FOP, and I directly represent line officers, which translates to unions and the working class, right? The reason why I value line officers in my experience is that, one, without line staff, without first line people, labor, the engine's gone.
We are the backbone of Utah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Unions are the backbone of every organized labor. One of my favorite things about being a union guy is arbitration.
Yes.
You know, you can be fired for no reason. You parted your hair on the wrong side that morning, you're fired. You know, no arbitration, no way to stop that. You know, so I do enjoy that.
I'm glad you mentioned, arbitration. Along those lines, the impetus for me wanting to increase the standard for me was to protect due process rights. I believe in due process.
Yes, sir.
I'm a law and order guy, and I believe that you shouldn't just be arbitrarily fired without cause, to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I was an at-will employee for almost my entire career.
Me as well.
And there's different reasons for that, but when you have a person that makes a mistake, and because they don't like you, that's not a proper.
I agree completely.
And the power differential, in my opinion, there needs to be some balance in the workforce.
Yeah, I believe that a lot of people have that lived experience. The boss doesn't like you. Could be a personality thing, ego thing. You need to be able to get in there and stand up for yourself instead of just one guy that's a tyrant, dropping the hammer on you and you're done. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to your family. So I would also like to ask you what concrete steps you'll take to protect collective bargaining rights in Utah.
Well, I was very active in getting House Bill 267 repealed, which was the anti.
We applaud that. We applaud that.
I sit on with the Protect Utah Workers Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hours of meeting, and we're able to get that repealed, which is awesome. So if I'm elected, I'm going to definitely protect that right, because I believe regardless of how you feel about unions, I believe in small government.
Mm-hmm.
And 267 was definitely government overreach.
I agree.
To eliminate the ability of locals to be able to decide who they negotiate with or interact with as they manage their human resources.
Mm-hmm.
So in the idea of a Republican framework, I don't like government overreach. I believe, just like Leadership 101 principle,
mm-hmm.
handle decisions at the lowest level and then escalate it if it cannot be resolved. And this was definitely government overreach. So I will not vote for, initiatives that increase the size of government and limit one's ability to collectively gather together and negotiate.
Yeah, those are union principles, absolutely. So Jordan Tusher, wasn't he the architect of that House bill?
From what I heard at a town hall meetings, is that he's the one that drafted it.
Mm-hmm.
wrote it up and sponsored it.
And he's your opponent. He's the incumbent for District 44, correct?
Yes, he's the incumbent.
And sounds like he's pretty anti-union.
I don't want to put words in his mouth, but definitely the message of 267 is that he doesn't like
He doesn't like a public sector union, okay? And we know what happens when public sector unions get knocked down, private sector unions get knocked down. It's just the way it is, and we want to stop that. It's another reason we're supporting this gentleman right here. So how will you keep public sector unions strong amid political pressure?
Again, my foundation is small government, and that will be my basis of decisions, is allowing a person to be able to join a group and have a collective voice, right? And also it creates efficiency. I heard, Representative Tusher say, individuals can now negotiate for themselves. I'm like, that's not an effective way to communicate
Absolutely not.
to a boss. But again, my foundational principle will be smaller government, allow somebody to constitutionally gather and have an efficient and effective voice.
Yeah, it's easier to speak to somebody in power when you've got a peer-to-peer level situation instead of going in and talking to your boss and he's got all the authority and power and just dump you because you walked in his office that morning and he was having a bad day and he doesn't want to deal with you. So arbitration and being put on a peer-to-peer level, it just levels the playing field and it's much more fair.
It levels the power differential, right? Business owners, they can't live with and function without labor. But labor also can't function with the opportunity to work.
It is a symbiotic relationship.
It really is, and we got to value that. And I believe there is balance, and I believe there are win-wins in every situation. They just take longer to achieve.
Yes, sir.
And my promise is I will get everybody around the table, period. And we will hash things out. But I believe in that power differential being balanced to a degree. There's always going to be more with an owner, right? They've got the skin in the game. Their credit, everything's on the line.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, if they see that as they treat employees with respect and a livable wage, they will have long-lasting employees and dedicated, loyal employees. And if you want to think globally about the Utah economy, they'll stay in Utah. We keep our skill in Utah instead of going to another state because they can make more.
Right, and most people in Utah are going to be blue-collar workers.
Yes.
So we're thinking about the future. We're thinking about the kid in the 8th grade that doesn't even know he's going to be a blue-collar guy yet.
Scott, if I could intervene.
Sure.
I don't like short-term. I always think long-term. And I think that's very important when you write policy. It's not about what's in front of me right now. It's what I can't see down the road that I try to anticipate. Have long-lasting ideas and policies that are the right thing to do, not because of political, cultural war. I may vote on things that my constituents like that I don't agree with, but my job as a representative, should I be elected, is to represent the people. I believe in the power of the people for checks and balances.
Well, the whole reason, one of the major reasons I started the Conservative Caucus at the Teamsters is to preserve the tradition, preserve the things that work, and maintain what works now, and to make sure that as we move into the future, we do the right thing in preserving the tradition, keeping what works, and we do this for our posterity, those that come after us, which is children. Okay, we want to build a stronger future for our children through the labor movement and through what Mr. Stephenson is saying. All right, I agree with him wholeheartedly. And so I'm going to close with this question. It's a question I get all the time. How do you square being a conservative with being pro-union and involved with the labor movement here in Utah? How do you think those two things fit together?
Well, I'm going to kind of sum up what I just said. If an owner sees the value in investing in their workforce, that in turn makes our workforce more skilled. So from a conservative standpoint, you maintain continuity, you maintain stability for your company. Yes, you may have to pay a little more, like a prevailing wage.
Yes, sir.
Right? So if they see the value in that stability, they're going to be more effective and more competitive in the economy because of that stability. And so I think there's a return on investment, Finance 101, right? If you invest in your people, you're going to get a better return.
Your number one asset is your employee.
Number one. And we want, I think there's a lot of good business owners out there that appreciate and value labor. If we can just get them to, the majority of them to understand that your return on investment is going to be greater if you just show that you value them and pay them a livable wage. That is what I can stand on as a conservative. Again, that's thinking globally and long term. Instead of just looking at the financials, the first quarter, second quarter, because you're placating to stockholders. There's a balance there, right?
As a business owner, you got to think your number one asset is your employee, but your number one expense is your payroll. And the one good thing about union and organizing and things like that is when you have a contract, everybody knows the rules. The contract is not just our side, and it's not just management's side. It's the book for everyone. So we go in and we protect that contract, and we also protect and represent the member. So with that, I would like to ask, is there anything else you would like to say before we end?
I just want everybody watching to know that I value people. I value the checks and balances. That's been my entire career. Transparency, without a doubt, because I've had to function under that Government Records Access Management Act. That has been part of my career, and I value that.
And you're living that experience.
I'm living that experience. And when it comes to propositions and referendums, I believe in those. And I do not think, like Amendment D and all that's going on with redistricting, we have got to value those checks and balances. Yes, it's not efficient to run everything by popular vote, right? You elect officials to do their work. But sometimes when you start to go sideways, there's got to be some type of recourse for the public. And I endorse that. I value that.
So since you brought that up, where are you on the redistricting? How do you feel about that?
I do not like gerrymandering. Regardless of, they've done it in the past. Therefore, two wrongs don't make a right, in my opinion.
I agree completely.
And I think that if I don't know how to do maps, that seems like a very difficult and challenging thing. But I like the idea of an independent body coming up with maps, and then the legislature saying, okay, here are the 3 maps. Here's your pick. They fit within the confines of Proposition 4. So I don't like the attempts to circumvent.
It's gamesmanship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you have the national influence coming into Utah.
Yes, sir.
And both sides are doing it. I want to focus on Utah, and the byproduct of focusing on Utah is going to be a healthier workforce, livable wage, and more stability within companies.
So, with that said, let's reinforce the future of our children here in Utah. Let's support Utahns first and Utah families. Let's do the right thing for our people. So, once again, Mr. Scott Stephenson, House of Representatives, District 44. Vote for this man. And if you have any questions or comments, contact him. Do you have a website?
I do.
What is it?
It's Scott Stephenson for Utah.com. All right, and you know me. Hit me up on Messenger, call me, talk to me, tap me on the shoulder, okay? Thank you for watching this interview, and we will talk again soon. Good luck. God bless. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.